Hello and welcome everyone to the Marr Show. Thank you guys for joining me for another fantastic episode. So in the last episode, don't you even remind me, that was the most brutal shave I've ever had in my life. Okay, so in the last episode, I talked about all the Super Smash Bros. Games that was up to the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It was a great video, it's something I've been wanting to do for years, and I'm finally glad I was able to talk about what I think about the whole series. But now that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is upon us and I have some time to play it, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my brief thoughts about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. I'm not gonna go heavily detailed into every single thing, there's plenty of videos that go about it. I just want to give my thoughts about the game in general and what I really think about it. As to me, after playing for about a good 30 hours of it, I think this is probably my favorite Smash Bros. Title to date. My personal favorite of mine is still Brawl. I know for some people it can be very sluggish, it's not as competitive compared to Melee, and there's a few minor stuff that did irritate some people. But for me, I always loved Brawl. It was the game that helped me got back into the Smash Bros. Series, and one of my first Nintendo Wii games I ever got for the system, so it's personal to me, plus I put in so much gameplay time on it. But Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think, is the most well-balanced, well-executed, has so much content, and has many great modes that I think makes it one of the best Smash Bros. Games to date, and one of my favorite games on the Switch, even though my favorite is still Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's really hard, there's so many great games on the Switch, but let's just go ahead and get started. I'll talk about my thoughts on Ultimate. I'm not going to do any heavy spoilers for the adventure mode, that's going to be very brief as my notes have described here, so just going to get things started. Very briefly, I just have to say this game performs astonishingly well. The controls and how the fighters play are excellent and well executed. Visually, this game is beautiful, and the music itself, this game has the biggest soundtrack out of any game I've ever seen, with over 28 hours worth of music. Everything in this game is just perfect. I think it just works astonishingly well. All the fighters are great. There were some tweaks that I've noticed with some of my favorite fighters like Mr. Game & Watch, where as he goes down he can drop a bomb and has some different visual styles that references other Game & Watch games, and I really like that nice detail there. But out of all the new characters, I think my personal favorite is Simon Belmont. I was personally excited to play King K. Rool, and when I first saw that he was going to be Smash, I was extremely happy to see him. So I was thinking he was going to be the best character to play, and he plays well, but I found myself playing Simon a lot more. I just love his moveset. Granted, I'm not good with timing of when he throws the holy water down to hit the opponent at the right time, but other than that, he's still a fantastic fighter. One more thing I want to talk about the fighters is how you unlock them. As you play through the game, you will unlock a lot of characters, whether you're playing through the Spirit Board, Classic Mode, or just playing so many rounds of Smash. You will be able to unlock all the characters in about 10, maybe 15 hours, or at least that was how long it took for me to get all the characters unlocked. One thing I really like about unlocking characters is that if somehow you lose to a fighter, you're not able to unlock him, instead of having to wait for that same character to pop up, if you go into Games and More, there's a small door that says challenges approaching, and you can refight the same fighter that you lost to get another round at him. That's something I really appreciate, and overall unlocking all the characters, I'm really happy they still do. They could have easily just had all the characters unlocked right straight to the get-go, like how when you open Smash for the first time, all the stages are there, and there's close to over 100 stages to choose from, but I'm really happy that they still allow you to have the ability to unlock all the characters. You first start off with the original 8 fighters from the original Smash Bros, and then unlock all the characters in just whatever order. That's something I'm really happy that they were able to do with Ultimate. And Smash is without doubt the best we've ever seen, with so many different customizations to do for different modes, so many different rule sets that you could go from, and there are 2 specific modes that I really enjoyed. Squad Strike is a 3-on-3 or 5-on-5 match where you pick 3 or 5 of your best fighters and just go on at it. It was a lot of fun. And of course there's also Smashdown. You choose one character, and after you choose, you cannot choose that character again, and it goes lower and lower until you pick 2 or 3 more fighters to choose from. It was really good. It took a long while, especially if you go for 35 battles, because there's so many different characters, but other than that, it's a mode I really enjoyed, and I think this game's Smash mode has some of the best rule sets and customizations to make the best and very unique Smash modes for any round, and just so much creativity that you can do in terms of creating different Smash rule sets and etc. It's just wonderful. Moving on over to Games and More, Classic mode is back, but it's a little bit different. I noticed that the pacing of this Classic mode flows a lot more smoother than the past few entries, not to mention each character has its own unique path that has a certain theme with it. And while Master Hand and Crazy Hand are in the game, there are different final bosses that you can fight, such as Giga Bowser and Dracula. That part I really enjoyed. It makes you wonder who's gonna be the final boss aside from Master Hand or Crazy Hand. It makes you wonder how this character's Classic mode is gonna be like, and I think it flows very nicely, and it's probably my favorite Classic mode, or my favorite way to play Classic mode to date. Within Mob Slash, there are 3 different modes. You got the classic 100-man fight, Cruel Smash, along with All-Star mode being unlocked straight from the get-go. It's a little bit different from how I'm usually used to All-Star, and I would have liked it to be how it was originally. It was like in Brawl, and Melee, and even in the Wii U version, but I did enjoy how they changed up All-Star mode a little bit, but I kind of wish it was back to how it was originally before, but still, not a bad way to mix it up. I also want to mention the challenge mode. The challenges are not nearly as hectic, not nearly as asinine crazy compared to what they were in Brawl in the Wii U version, and I think it's a little bit more forgiving in the hammers. I still have 4 hammers. I did use one for the challenge where you have to face 10 legend spirits, which is insane because the legend spirits are hard as heck, but I was still able to get 4 hammers. You can build up hammers as you unlock more tiles. You can unlock more hammers to stock up, and I think that there really helps a whole lot. There was one thing about this game I was extremely nervous of when they first announced it in the Nintendo Directs leading up to this game, and that's the spirits. Spirits are kind of like trophies in a way, where they represent a lot of different Nintendo characters or items, and there's a lot of spirits in this game. 1,297 spirits in total. Yeah. When I first heard about the spirits, I was really nervous about how customizable they were, but actually after a while I found myself really loving the spirits actually, and being able to think of different ways to approach a battle. In both the Adventure and Spirit board, you fight different enemies that has a spirit that has its own different battle conditions, such as maybe the enemy can turn invisible for a short while, or maybe certain items will appear in a battle. It can make some really creative battles that I think maybe took the elements of like the event mode from Brawl and so on, and actually tweak them to so many different creative possibilities that makes you challenge yourself and wonder, okay, this guy is a stamina battle, he's weak against fire, so let's see if I could customize spirits to do that. It really makes you think, and I actually really found myself enjoying it. Again, I was nervous about this mode, being overwhelmed with having to customize a lot with the spirits to go into every battle, but I actually find myself really enjoying this mode a whole lot. And there's a lot that you can do with the spirits, such as combining different summon cores to summon up a brand new spirit altogether. Certain spirits can be enhanced to grow into brand new spirits, and I think the spirits are a lot more engaging to collect the trophies. Not saying that the trophies weren't bad to collect, but because you go through so many different creative fights that has so many different conditions and has you planning out which spirits can help you in a situation, it made it more engaging to collect the spirits more than the trophies. And the battles were insane. Like there was one battle in particular I remember. I didn't get a chance to record it. Me and my brother was driving when I got to fight this, but there was one mode where I had to fight 3 Jigglypuffs, but they keep spamming the Jigglypuff move, and that constantly kept me asleep. That fight alone was hard as heck, but it was so worth it. After I adjusted my spirit self and was able to come back against these Jigglypuffs in style. Granted, I did not have a spirit that can make me not sleepy, but who cares? It was still fun overall. I really enjoyed it. And I guess I'll briefly mention the World of Light adventure mode. I'm not going to spoil too much as I haven't really played a whole lot in this game, but I think this mode is really fun. It's not deep within its story or cutscenes compared to the Subspace Emissary in Brawl, But for it, I think is a wonderful adventure mode that I think combines the elements of Melee's adventure mode and Brawl into a package that I think makes it worthwhile and a lot of fun to play. And it's a huge map that'll take you a long time to play. I think the only thing I don't like about the spirits is that there's no descriptions for the characters. When we had the trophies, there was fun descriptions of each character. It also mentions which games they came from, but here you only see that they came from like Fire Emblem series, the Super Mario series, and that's it. You don't get a description of like what this character's personality was, which specific game that character is from. That's something I think would be a nice thing to add, especially since there's so many and you're like, I wonder which version of Mario this appeared in or something. I think that would have been something nice, but I know that having to do so many descriptions and finding out the game's history took them a long time to do with the trophies, but still something I wish was added in. In fact, there's one thing I want to briefly mention. This doesn't have to do with Ultimate, but just has to do with the whole Smash community. I know there's a lot of people that get very upset when their favorite character is not a fighter, such as when Isaac is not a fighter and instead is an assistant trophy, or when Shovel Knight is just an assistant trophy, not a fighter, and stuff like that. But honestly, if the character is in Smash, isn't that good enough? Whether they be assistant trophy or even mentioned in spirit or trophy form, isn't that enough to say they still remember the franchise? There are so many Nintendo games that people will remember and so many that people forget. And isn't it nice that even if this character isn't a fighter or assistant trophy and it's just a spirit, isn't it worth it to see that character in Smash alone regardless what they appear in? I mean, heck, I freaked it out when I saw that Tsubasa from Tokyo Mirage Sessions was a spirit, as I absolutely love Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And even though she's not a fighter in the game, to see her as a spirit, in fact she's actually a spirit that I use a lot to help boost my defense up, to just see her in the game, regardless if she's a fighter or spirit, isn't that worth it to see that they still acknowledge that game / characters to even put in Smash? A game that celebrates everything video game culture-wise? There are so many characters that everyone wants to see as a fighter. It will be cool to play Shovel Knight, it will be cool to play Isaac, it will be cool to play Tsubasa, it will be cool to play Goomba. I mean, we got Piranha Plant, which I'm legitimately excited for. He's gonna be so hilarious when I get the chance to play him. I mean, heck, you see franchises like Glory of Hercules mentioned in Spirits. Sure, he's not a fighter, but the fact that they remember that series on the DS is worth it to say that they still acknowledge that franchise, and maybe someday he'll be a fighter. It's just, I don't know, I think people are just getting too upset. I mean, Sakurai has so much stuff on his plate that he can't add every single character. And who knows, maybe in the future Smash Bros. Series, whenever that will be, maybe Shovel Knight will be playable, maybe Tsubasa from Tokyo Mirage Sessions will be a fighter, who knows? But the fact that Nintendo still remembers the franchises and still wants to include them in Smash, regardless if they're fighter, spirit, assist trophy, background characters, whatever, I think that's enough to that still warms my heart to see Nintendo remembering these wonderful franchises, even though a lot of people may not know about them whatsoever. So overall, Smash Ultimate, I think I'm gonna say it's my personal favorite Smash Bros. Game today. I still love Brawl with a passion, but Ultimate I think is wonderful. There's a few minor things I don't like, such as I wish All-Star mode was like how it was in the Wii U version, and I guess it would be nice to see the spirits have descriptions for that character and what game specifically that spirit came from, but regardless, Ultimate I think is a wonderful, fantastic game. Heck, you could play as all the fighters from all the previous Smash Bros. Games in it. All of them are so much fun to play. Everything is well balanced. It's just a huge game overall, and the modes themselves are great. I love collecting spirits. It's probably my favorite Smash Bros. Game today. I'm still playing it though. I just recently got all the characters unlocked. Thank you, Tommy, for helping me unlock all the characters during the Christmas party. And overall, I definitely recommend picking this up. Whether you get it on sale or you pay the regular $60 for it, it's a fantastic game, and I'm really excited to see the upcoming DLC for it. I'm not a huge Persona person, but it is fun to see Joker added to the Smash Bros. Library, and again, I want to play Piranha Plant. I think he'll be fun as heck. I know some people got mad when he was a fighter instead of others, but I think he'll be fun. I think he will be. And that's all the time we have for today, folks. So if you would like to leave your thoughts on today's game, just comment below. And if you play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, is it your personal favorite Smash Bros. Game to date? Or do you still prefer like Melee or the original N64? And hey, just share what your main character is. I know my brother, when he got a chance to play Ultimate, he absolutely loves playing as Incineroar. I mean, yeah, I know he got a bit confused when he first saw him and seen the evolutions from a cute little baby kitten to Macho Man Libre. I'm not sure, but still, that's his main fighter and he's really happy with it. But thank you guys for watching this overall. God bless you, and I will see you all in the next episode of the Marr Show. Bye bye!